G'day, it's Dan Beeston here for MacTuts Plus. And in this screencast, we're going to be learning how to take control of our browser experience. Now, I've finally found a page all about English mammals, which is exactly what I want to read about. Well, I don't need any of them. Oh, great. Well, how am I supposed to read the content when there's an ad stuck in front of it? Well, we're not stuck here. What we can do is use the power of the Google Chrome Inspect element. Here we just click on the magnifying glass and have a look at the item in question. And we can see that that's a div with an ID of ad. And we can go to that element and we can just change the style. We could change the background to pink. Or, even better in this case, the display to none. There we go. The ad's gone and now we can read to our heart's content all about English mammals. Although it's not styled very well. Chalkboard is a step up from Comic Sans, but it's not a major step up from Comic Sans. And it's also a little bit too wide for my liking as well. So let's go back to Inspect Element, click on the body, and change the style of the element. Let's make the width 500 pixels. Let's make the margin auto. And that puts it in the center. And let's change the font to lighter. 16 pixels, 1.5 EM. Helvetica, because those hipsters know what they're talking about when it comes to text. There we go. That is much easier to read through. Now, if you're using Firefox, you can do the same thing by right-click, Inspect Element. Your pointer is over here on the left. Select your ad. Type in display, none. Make sure you spell display correctly. And it's gone. If you want to do the same thing with Safari, right-click and you'll notice that there's no Inspect Element option there. Safari does have one, but it's not activated by default. So click on Preferences, Advanced, and click Show Develop menu. Now right-click and you'll see Inspect Element. Your pointer is over here on the right, and under Style Attribute, you can type in Display None. Go to Body, type in Width 500 pixels, double click again, Margin Auto. Safari can be a little bit temperamental when it comes to additional lines. Font, lighter, 16 pixels, 1.5 EM. Helvetica. There we go. The only problem being here is that if I refresh the page, all that styling vanishes. What would be great if we could save those style sheet changes and then reload them every time we loaded that page. You can do that in Safari with a program called User CSS, in Firefox with one called Stylish or another called Customize Your Web, but for my money, I prefer to use Chrome and a Chrome extension called Stylebot. Let's go to the Google Chrome store. Search the store for Stylebot extension and click free, the best price of all. It'll install and you'll see it up there where it says CSS. We can click on Open Stylebot, go to Edit CSS and type in our style sheet. Body, width 500 pixels, margin auto, font, something nice. And save that. And now whenever we reload that page. It restyles it just the way we want it. Now, the best thing about the internet is that anyone can publish to it no matter what their skill level. The worst thing is that anyone can publish to the internet no matter what their skill level. Now, I don't want to make fun of anyone who's trying their hardest to put together a website for the first time. Everyone has to start somewhere. But I would like to show you how you could go to a website that maybe isn't to your liking and restyle it to your preference. So we're going to go to websitesthatsuck.com. Now, this page is a great resource. Vincent Flanders is a usability expert, and it's his point of view that links should be bright blue so that everyone recognizes it's a link, and that titles should be big, bold titles so that everyone knows it's a title. He puts a priority on how it works over how it looks, which is a great idea. But I already know how to use the web. I know what a link looks like. So I'm going to restyle this page so it's just a little bit nicer. Let's start up Stylebot and make sure that that's highlighted blue. First thing we're going to do is going to change the color of these links. Click on the color there and make it a little bit more subdued. Nice. Then we're going to get rid of the underline and we are going to put a border on it. 0, 0, 0, 1. And it's going to be dotted. There we go. Now those links are looking much nicer. Let's pick the title. And we're going to change the font family to Roboto. And let's make it a little bit smaller. Great. It's slowly getting there. Now, these ads are kind of in the way, and they distract from the content of the site. I can't select them because I don't know exactly how they're made up, but we can use the Inspect Element option to go and have a closer look. Click on the magnifying glass, click inside it, and we can see a very deep bit of HTML that all resides inside an iframe. Well, that makes it easy. It looks like all the ads on this page are in iframes. So let's go back to Stylebot, edit CSS. We can see the CSS that's been added already. Let's add an iframe. And just to make sure we've got it, we'll put a border of 2 pixels, orange, solid. There we go. We've targeted all of the ads. Now at this point, we could just get rid of them all. But these free websites make their money by providing ads, so I don't want to do that. I want to know that there are ads there. I just want them to be separate from the rest of the content. So I'm going to change the opacity to 0.1 so I can just barely see it. And then if I'm interested in it, I'm going to hover over the top and it'll be brighter. So if that's worked properly, I like the ad, I can highlight it and have a closer look. Now these skills are great if you want to style a particular website in a very particular way. Now the great thing about Stylebot is that if it's a popular site, then someone's probably already got there before you. Let's take a look at Twitter/MacTuts. Here we go, the MacTuts Plus Twitter feed. Now we could get into Stylebot and start making selections, changing font sizes, colors, pretty much the entire layout of the page. But I expect someone's already gotten there before us. Let's go to Install Style from Social. And here we have a whole heap of changes that people have made that you can just scroll down and choose from. Let's try that one out. Now, whenever you come to Twitter, it will display in an entirely different manner. And if you don't like any of them, you want to go back to the original, just click Remove Styling, and it's all back to normal. Now, we've been looking at some fairly simple ones here, but why don't we go to a really decent challenge? We're going to go to the big ugly website.com. Avert your eyes. Whew, that is a nasty piece of work. This is intentionally bad. We want to read the content without exposing ourselves to the risk of a seizure. So, let's see what we can do. We'll open Stylebot and edit the CSS. Let's get the HTML and make the background light grey. Then let's get the body, make the background white. And we're also going to put a width of 500 pixels and our margin auto. And let's put a bit of padding on there too. We're getting there, but there's still a lot of colors and a lot of ugly fonts in there. Now, we could select each individual element, change the color and the background. But there are a lot of elements here, and that is going to take quite a while. So let's go back to Edit CSS. And instead of just selecting HTML body H1, we're going to select everything. So we're going to make the background transparent and the color dark grey. And the font will be lighter 16 over 1.5 Helvetica. That is looking a little bit easier to read now. Now, it's not perfect, but it is going to be much easier to read. From that to that. Now, you'll notice that the modal window here is being restyled as well. That's because it's a part of the HTML page, so it's styling itself. That's something to consider if you're styling everything in the page or if you're styling span tags. But if everything goes pear-shaped and you get confused, you can always just reset the page. That's better. Browsing the web is becoming more and more a personal experience. We could choose whether we're going to experience the web via a laptop or a tablet or a phone. And now you can tinker with even the basic text choices and be beholden to no one. As always, if you've got any questions, please do ask them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. This is Dan Beeston for MacTuts Plus.